Alright peeps, I'm actually going to show you something kind of cool today, and it is basically just the most basic appliances that you could ever get. And if nothing else, these are probably the more important ones to have in your kitchen because they are multifunctional and they take up less space. Now, of course, you can have whatever you want, like if you feel like you need separate things, then go ahead and get them. But this is just like the basics of basics. For starters, an air fryer. You can bake in these, you can fry stuff in there, you can roast stuff in there like the one I have, and you can reheat things up here, and I think the texture turns out a lot more similar to when you first cooked it than in a microwave. Honestly, air fryers are just bae. Like, you don't have to get a super duper expensive one, but I would say if you use it more, it's better to invest in a better quality one than in a cheap one. Instant pots are number one for a lot of reasons. You can cook in these, you can do a lot of things in these. There's some that even have baking or yogurt making functions, but I have this one. Well, it does make yogurt apparently. You can make soup, you can make beans, you can uh cook some rice in there. You can slow cook meat. You can have a soup cooking all day. You can steam stuff. Some of them, like this one, have a saute option. It just has so many uses, especially for someone who may be disabled or elderly that can't really cook anymore. You just throw shit in here and you will have a wonderful meal. All right, another thing you might want to use is a stand mixer. You can mix, you can bake, all that cool stuff in here, and you wouldn't have to worry about anything. You can also knead dough and everything else. This one is safe to say about 4 years old. I may or may not be upgrading in the near future, but if you don't use it that often, again, you don't really need a super duper expensive one. If you do, you can start off with a cheap one and eventually move up to a more expensive one like I did. And last but not least, your blender. A blender really doesn't have to be super duper expensive to be its job. I tend to do a lot of fancy shit with a blender, so I need a more expensive one. But you can really just use whatever blender. It can chop up stuff, grind up stuff, and a lot of other neat shit. This one also apparently crushes ice and makes dough, but I've never tried that. But yeah, those are just the basic things you need in your kitchen.